Okay, so if you are using Google Classroom and you have a pre-made form, whether it's something you purchased, it could be one of my vocabulary forms or a spiral review form. I'm just going to show you quickly some tips for using it in Google Classroom so that you have all of the grading and data capabilities that are available via the platform. So before assigning something, this is a form. It doesn't matter what form you're using. I'm just using this for demonstration purposes. But before assigning a form or a quiz to your students, you do need to come up here in this little gear and click on settings. And you need to make sure that these three settings are clicked. So collecting email addresses, restricting users to your organization or trusted organizations. Of course, this will be your copy in your drive, so it will not say got to teach. And then limit to one response. Once you have those set, then you can go ahead and log in to your Google Classroom. You're going to go to classwork and you're going to create. This is going to create an assignment, and you're using a form or a quiz. So you'll do quiz assignment. Now you're going to want to remove this default blank quiz that comes up as soon as you create an assignment. If you are trying to add more than one Google form or quiz in an assignment, then you won't have some of the grading capabilities that you'll see in a few moments. So go ahead and just, I was going to say test. You can put instructions here if you like, and then you're going to add, and this is where you're going to go to your Google Drive, and you're going to find your quiz. So this is, I think, the quiz that I just did, but I'm not, usually it's your most recent one, but I know where I saved my quiz, so if you saved them in a certain folder, then you can just go there. Now, for assigning, you can assign to all your students or you can select students. You can choose this 100 points, but if your quiz is set up with points already, and this one is, then you're going to see that it will override that 100 base points in just a minute. So we'll go ahead and assign that. Now, what happens when you assign that test assignment? Your students will get an email that they have an assignment. Now, I'm going to log in as a student. We'll see if it allows me to. So you can see what it looks like from a student's perspective. So a student logs in to their class. They will click on classwork, and then they should see their assignment. They click on test, and then click on that. The form will come up. I added this. You don't have to. If you're in Google Classroom, you don't have to add a question that asks their name, but I added it just because I was doing a demo for people who aren't using Google Classroom. Now I'm just going to go ahead and complete this randomly so you can see how the data is collected, and then we can go back into the teacher's interface and you can see what the grading will look like. So we'll click submit. The student can see the score if that's one of the settings you have. You don't have to. So this student got 4 out of 10. Now I'm going to close these so Google doesn't get too confused as to who's logged in. And I'm going to go log right back in as a teacher so you can see then what it will look like for you once a student completes a quiz. And it might give me a hard time because I have all these tabs open. Okay, I'm going to close that one because we're not the student anymore. So here's the student interface. You can click on that assignment and you can see one person turned it in. That's the one we just did. And oops, I didn't mean to log on that. So if you go to one turned in, now here's where a lot of people get confused because there's no score. That's what you have to do, import grades. Now, remember, when you assigned this, you made sure that those were clicked. These three features were enabled, or settings were enabled. If you don't do that before you assign it, then this will most likely be grayed out and you won't be able to import grades. This will also be grayed out if you attach more than one Google form or more than one item and a Google form to an assignment. So you remember you have to have just one form per assignment. So if I click on import grades, just watch right over here what will happen. It'll ask you if you want to do that. So it's importing the grades, and then here you can see that his score, the 4 out of 10, is then imported. Okay, now if you want to see exactly, so this gives you kind of like a general view of how your students did. 4 out of 10, you're going to of course have several more students here in this list and you'll see their scores. But if you want to click specifically on the form to get even more data, what you're going to do is you'll go back to the form. Now this is the back end version of the form. It's your form, not what the students see. And you're going to go to responses, and this is where you'll get some of the more detailed information. So you can look at it like as a summary. You can look at it per question. So you'll be able to see the questions specifically and which ones were missed and which ones like several, you're going to have more data here, obviously, because you'll have more than one student, but you'll be able to see like any trends on classroom trends as far as several people missing the same question. And then you can also look at individual. So you'll have a drop-down menu here with several students, and you'll be able to look specifically at the forms and which ones they missed. So that is how you get into further detail for student and classroom information that's more specific to the form or quiz that you assigned.